Alright guys, what's up? Now I want to start off by saying you're probably going to have to work with me on sound quality. I don't have my laptop or my desktop with a good microphone set up yet, so I'm just using a lav mic connected to my camera. But this room has nothing in it yet, so sound is just reverberating like crazy. Not much I can do, but it's on the to-do list. So basically I wanted to unbox the GoPro Hero 8, and I mean, I know this camera's been out for 6 months already, but I basically just wanted to discuss my thoughts about this camera in relation to motocross and off-road riding, why I upgraded, and kind of some things that scare me about the camera, and some things I'm excited about. So yeah, just go over that while I unbox this sucker. So last year I wasn't going to get the Hero 7. I got it because it went on sale for $100 off in like February. And I kind of said the same thing about the 8, and it went $100 off. We had our stimulus checks. My 7 has been really buggy, so it just kind of made sense. There we go, look at that. I love the way they do the cases though, they're definitely sharp. So as far as the bugs of the 7, I'll be recording and it'll just freeze, and it keeps recording the audio but the video just freezes. Super annoying. I had that happen in my first off-road race. Also had it happen when I was trying to test ride a Husky 701. Very annoying. Another thing is when I put it into a frame, I don't know what happens, but it starts flagging the video. Like you would normally use a flag for when there's a area of interest so you can find it later when you're editing. And I would flag the video, or I would put the camera in the case that clamps around it, and it would just continually flag, 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 flag. And it would do that until like it had like 500 flags, and that's as many as you can have. And so that was super annoying. I couldn't change settings while it was flagging. No idea. I tried different cases. I thought, man, this one must be putting pressure in a weird spot or something. Must be touching the screen. No matter what I did, it kept doing it. So I just had a bunch of issues with that thing. And I people keep commenting on my videos about it, and they're like, it's got to be the memory card. It's the memory card. It's the firmware. Well, I've tried 15 different memory cards that work fine on all my other cameras, and I've updated the firmware and it keeps doing the same thing. So hopefully this one will not have these issues. So for starters, at first I knew they finally changed the form factor of the Hero. It was the same 5, 6, and 7, which meant, you know, it mounted the same, it took the same clamps, it took the same battery, all that. So when the 8 came out and I saw that they changed the form factor, I thought, man, it must be a different battery. But then I found out later that apparently it is not a different battery. So that helped my decision on grabbing this 8, because I must have 12 or 15 of these batteries, you know, because they only last 45 minutes at best. So once I found out it was the same battery, I thought, yeah, that makes sense. So the 5, 6, and 7 open on the bottom here, and this 8 is supposed to open on the side. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, so something kind of pops down. Don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, this door has like a little, like almost like a little slider, pops down, then the whole thing will pop open. And the door apparently pops off very easily. And pops on pretty easy too. Okay, so this door is not like the doors on the others. This door you cannot go past right there, or it will just come off. like that. So that's interesting, because you just probably just barely fit the battery, and I've actually got a battery over here, so let's test it. Nice. Okay, so like I said, door cannot go all the way up or it will pop off. So let's see how easily this slides in. Oh, there's still plenty of room. Door does take some pressure to get that first little bit to pop off so that you can open it. Only time will tell whether I like that or not. Interesting. So buttons are pretty much the same. They're just on, this one's on the other side. It's a power and a mode button and a record button. It's amazing how many people that I let borrow my GoPro and they can't figure out how to use it, and I'm like, guys, there's only 2 buttons. But anyway, so first thing that I was a little bit worried about, the mounts being built into the GoPro. Every time I've seen somebody try to grab one of these, it looks like maybe they have to grab them with their fingernails, and I don't have much because I bite them. But from the looks of it, it's not going to be a big deal. You can see that mount. Grab it, grab it. And the whole idea behind this, obviously, is so you don't have to have a frame at all. Yeah, that looks like that's going to work pretty well, actually. Yeah, and then when you're done with it, back in, out of the way. Yeah, so it's just, I was honestly a little intimidated to try to learn this new form factor and everything when all 3 of the GoPros I'm carrying with me right now are all the same. So this one apparently is going to take a little more pressure to get this door open. And you got to be careful not to pull it open too far. And the battery slides in. This takes a little more pressure, and maybe this will break in some as well. I don't know how easy, if these legs will break off at all, but they have a little flex in them. So hopefully, oh man, I have broke a frame before in a crash. I'm not sure what you would do. Okay, so it looks like with some very small Torx bits, you can replace these legs on the bottom. It's just 4 bolts, which would be fantastic, because that's obviously what's going to break with pressure on the camera. That would be great. There's probably already like aftermarket companies making the legs for them already. So if that's the case, I can deal with that just fine. So moving on to my other concern. The 5, 6, and 7 all had removable lenses on the front. This one does not. I didn't think that was a big deal for the longest time until last summer when I went to a rocky track. I was at Chillytown in Chillicothe, Ohio. Fairgrounds track, super rocky, super one line, and a lot of bikes. And I had a rock come up and hit me right in the chin piece and bust that. Well, it wasn't a big deal because it was on my 7, so I just popped the lens cover off my 5, put it right on my 7, rode the rest of the day. Excuse me. If that happens with this, I'm out of luck. And there's a big conspiracy going around that they did this because they want you to buy the insurance package, which is like, I don't know how much a month or a year, but you can send it back and get it fixed. That's just another thing I don't really want to get into. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen. Like I said, I've got probably 400 or 500 GoPro videos across the channels, and only had 1 busted lens ever. So I guess I'll just keep my fingers crossed. I know you can put a protective housing on them, But the issue I've had with that is every time I put another housing over top of a GoPro and it's got like another layer of plastic or glass to look through, it looks hazy. Looks really hazy. It loses a lot of the sharpness, and that's not what I'm trying to do at all. So pull off the protective film. I'm going to power it up. English. Legal stuff, agree. Turn on GPS. Install the GoPro app on your phone to finish app setup. Leave your camera on and follow the app instructions. Why do I need to turn on my phone to set up my GoPro? Guess I need to go add a camera. This is a Samsung Note 10 Plus, by the way. We found your GoPro, Hero 8 Black. Let's connect. We'll change it to Ryan's Hero 8. Update your camera's software. New features: enables media mod compatibility. Adds the ability to toggle between time warp and real-time capture by pressing the mode button. General bug fixes. Alright, so we're going to update. And while we let that update, I'll tell you guys the main differences in this camera is the reason I upgraded. I've heard that the Hyper Smooth 2.0 is fantastic. I don't need it to be smoother. The Hyper Smooth is already almost too smooth when you're talking about dirt bikes, because the audience can't even get a grasp on what kind of terrain you're going over. Like, you got to find that fine line between making the audience seasick or dizzy, but also if you watch one of the original Hyper Smooth videos that Cole Seeley put out a couple years ago, he's going through a set of Supercross whoops, and we all know about Supercross whoops, and it looks like his bike and body is not even moving, which he's doing them smooth, but still there's a lot of jarring and stuff that's going on there as well, and you can't even tell it because the Hyper Smooth is so good. The reason I like the 8 is because you get Hyper Smooth in 4K 60, I believe. Whereas on the 7, you only get it in 4K 30. You don't get it in any of the higher frame rates with 2.7 or 1080. And I believe you do on the 8, which is fantastic. Let's see what comes in the box here. GoPro Plus, unlimited cloud storage of your GoPro footage. Damaged camera replacement, no questions asked. Yeah, so that's what they're wanting you to get. I can't remember what it costs. I'll have to look into it. It may be worth it if you're doing moto. Got some stickers. Some helpline stuff. There's the safe product and safety instructions. The battery. I like how they've done them blue. That looks really cool. Another issue, or another thing I like is these USB Type-C cables that come with the GoPro. They're super high quality, and a lot of my other USB-C cables won't let me transfer data from my phone to the PC and back and forth, which I do all the time to upload YouTube videos. This does let me transfer, and it transfers fast. So these are high quality USB cables, and you do get your one curved mount with it as well. Okay, your Hero 7 Black is ready. So you can see exactly what I'm seeing. Very little lag too. It's like the connections get better on these every year. Now with the 5, 6, and 7, they change the menus in here each time, which always throws me off. And it looks like they've done it again. You can, the custom presets is new. I keep forgetting about that. So like it comes with a standard, activity, cinematic, and slow-mo, which is really cool. But you can change them to whatever you want. Activity, which is set on 2K 60 Super View. That's probably what I would use most of the time anyway. The 2.7K is just, it's a really good resolution, but not the massive file size of 4K. And with the 60 FPS, you can slow things down a little bit and they still don't look choppy, which is nice. And you don't get the crazy big file sizes. So they got slow mode. Yeah, so there's a lot of settings in here now when there was only 6. So you can adjust all the Pro Tune stuff straight from the quick settings, all the shortcuts, everything. So your preset doesn't just change your resolution and FPS and lens and hypersmooth. Your preset takes into account Pro Tune settings and on-screen shortcuts, which is really cool. That will save a bunch of time. So cinematic, let's change cinematic from 4K 30 to 4K 60. To play back at this resolution, your phone or computer must support HEVC. Okay. So there's our resolution. And we still get hypersmooth at 4K 60. So that's a 10% crop. Not bad. Yeah, so just scrolling through this, I think it's going to be way more user-friendly, quicker for me to get around while I'm changing settings. Yeah, and like if you're in activity mode, you can still change from super view to wide really quick because you have a shortcut right there on either side. So guys, I'm pretty pumped. I think this thing's going to be good. It's so weird though, like it's so weird to me that I can mount this up just the way it sits here with no frame, because there's been 2 or 3 times I have got to the track and realized I forgot my frame. One time I duct taped a GoPro to my helmet. That wasn't pretty. But this is going to be so weird. It's just one less thing I have to keep on me. And let's see how this fits in the Dango real quick. Alright, my Dango Designs gripper mount. You guys know I love these things. And I basically just got to the point where I was leaving the mounts on the Dangos. It's just going to be super weird. So the mount is off. This is going on. Wow, that's going to be so weird. Just seems so naked without the frame. And this thing looks so clean and shiny right now, and the first couple rides is going to be beat to death with rocks and roost and mud, and that's what we do though, right? So yeah guys, just saved a little money from missing some races because of this quarantine, and figured I would upgrade this for the channel, be in really good shape whenever racing and stuff does start back up. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is the first video I've made in my new studio, which is still a work in progress. So sorry about the audio. We're working on it. Thanks, and see you in the next one.